49 years. If you say that number to an individual and explain it as an age, if the individual was 20, he would consider that to be a very old age. But to a country, it would be its prime, and it would be the time of youth. 49 years is not quite a very large number for the age of a country. And yet, in 48 years, the UAE has come a long way, and that is in quantity. Quality has been proven in the 49th year. And this is the year of the pandemic, a pandemic that exposed the fragility of systems and individuals alike. Usually, when a person comes across a crisis and he sets resolutions for himself at the time, he is or she is excused to delay those resolutions for another year or another time. But not the United Arab Emirates. It still delivered by limiting the spread of COVID-19 in 2020, by operating the first nuclear power plant of its kind, more or less sending the first probe to Mars under the name of hope. Today we look back, not because we are in doubt, but because we would like to know where have we arrived in the present and where are we headed to the future. Today, a nation unites in diversity under the flag for the 49th time. And today we remind ourselves and show you the meaning and value of their union. In 1971, when the Emirates united under Sheikh Zayed to form the UAE, back in the early days of celebrating National Day as the flag was raised for the first time, we didn't gaze at it as much as we looked to the founding father, Sheikh Zayed, for inspiration. In the 1980s, there was no Flag Day or Commemoration Day back then. They came much later. The late founding father, Sheikh Zayed, was a father figure who took care of us, a patriotic symbol and a force that held us all together. Back then, every soul that chose the UAE as a home for itself and for the coming generations felt that they were part of an Emirati family. It was only much later that every child, adult, and old man comprehended that they became part of an independent nation. Transportation, infrastructure, economy, and even traditions are many developing and constant developing aspects of the United Arab Emirates. And if we were to take a time machine and rewind it 49 years into the past to let people who are living on this land or any other land, what would the UAE come to in the present date? Whether it was the highest standing skyscraper on the planet, or a hope probe launching into the red planet Mars, or a soon-to-launch rover into the lunar surface. Many would exclaim in disbelief, but can we blame them? The best person to talk about the hardships of the past, and we have to talk about the hardships of the past to every upcoming generation, because our founding fathers believe and passed this down as a quote, that passing down the hardships that we've been through only makes the next generations ever so stronger. How was the past? And the best person to talk about the hardships of infrastructure is a Minister of State of the Energy and Infrastructure. His Excellency Sahil al-Mazrou'i had quite the story to share with us.
I myself remember my childhood without electricity, in a tent. I remember my first grade studying on a lamp in a tent. As a child, I did not imagine that I will be speaking to you today as a minister, and even looking around me and seeing this beautiful country that our leadership have aspired to build, and we have achieved it today. So starting from the beginning was very humble. I think it started with a trust on the leader who have put us all together. God bless his soul, Sheikh Zayed, who came up with this vision of uniting the 7 Emirates. He started this vision investing first on the human capital, on the individuals. He promised that prosperity is coming to to everyone living in the 7 Emirates. And at that time, that promise was has a huge liability. But the investments on the infrastructure that the leadership in UAE put have led us today in the 49th, I would say, anniversary of UAE to celebrate being number 1 in connectivity of electricity to our people. Every Emirates of the 7. So no distinction between if you live in Abu Dhabi or you live in Fujairah, you are among the best in the world, if not the best in the world, in the speed of getting electricity and the essentials to you as a national or an expat. And as well, we have built an infrastructure that is among the top on the world, if not the best, in terms of road quality, in terms of flow, in terms of quality of living. And I think that dream that started in the minds of late Sheikh Zayed, that he thought about building this nation, it wouldn't be achieved if there wasn't a trust. The people in UAE have achieved what they have achieved because they have a full trust of the leadership, and because they have a visionary leadership.
In here, it is always about what brings us together as human beings, rather than what differentiates us. We might have different perspectives, but we are all the same. We are all human. And that should unify individuals in the same way the 7 Emirates came together to form the UAE. Defense and independence, culture and security, territorial sovereignty and identity. All of these are nation-defining aspects. Once recognized, there is a race to have them even more recognized internationally, and let alone inscribing them into current and futuristic generations. One of those very long journeys and one very never-stopping journey in those aspects is food and water. Perhaps this aspect has been taken for granted throughout the ages, but through this year 2020, people have learned a lesson to never take such an aspect for granted. Who better to talk about food and water than the Minister of State for Food and Water Security, Her Excellency Maryam Aramheri.
Enhancing our food security is a non-stop journey, with our commitment to ensuring that all individuals have access to safe and nutritious food at affordable prices at all times in order to live a healthy lifestyle. We are able to achieve this through the support of the entire community, adopting rational consumption behaviors and having a positive relationship with the food we put on our plate. Today we celebrate the birth of our nation, a nation that was built on the foundation of a vision by the late Sheikh Zayed, may Allah rest his soul, who dreamed for a bright future for all the citizens and residents of the UAE. Through hard work, resilience, and perseverance, and with the guidance of our supportive leadership, we have been able to achieve our goals, overcome our challenges, and make way for our country's progress, advancement, and development. We have been able to achieve this by working as a collective community, appreciating our nation's diversity, and ensuring inclusiveness to everyone who shares the same love for the UAE and calls this place home. Our culture and heritage embed a strong connection with our food.
This sense of belonging, of coming together to form a whole that is greater than its individual parts, comes directly from Sheikh Zayed's vision of a unified nation.